polite is a really important part of Portuguese culture, and after I made this video last week about swearing, lots of you got in touch and told me you wanted a video about how to be polite. It's a tricky one to get right, but by the end of this video I will have shown you the 3 ways that you can use to make polite conversation when you're in Portugal. If you're enjoying my videos on practical Portuguese, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and to subscribe. And if you want to hear about how you can study with me online with my new online course, the link is in the description. So the first thing you need to know is that when we're speaking politely, we have to put verbs in the 3rd person singular. What does that mean? Well, let's take the verb falar, for example. Let's say we want to ask somebody politely, do you speak English? The 1st person singular is I speak. Eu falo. The 2nd person singular is tu falas. So the 3rd person singular refers to he, she, and also you polite. That is ele, ela, você, and the verb ending is a, fala. But here's the first thing you need to know. We will not be using the actual personal pronoun você. We will not be saying that out loud. The reason for this is that actually saying the personal pronoun você when you're speaking, when you're in Portugal, is what is considered not so polite. So how do we get around that? Just simply leave it off, okay? You don't need to say você fala inglês. You simply cut out the você and you say fala inglês. That's the first and the easiest way to make sure that you're speaking politely. The next way to talk politely is the one that people find a little bit strange, and I have to admit it took me a long time to get used to doing this as well. You can actually use the person's name and speak to them directly in the 3rd person, okay? So it would go something like this. If I'm speaking to somebody called Maria and I know her name, then that's a polite yet friendly way of speaking with her. And I would say, a Maria fala inglês. I'd be looking directly at her, talking directly to her, but I'm using her name. A Maria fala inglês. Feels super weird, but it's the way it's done. If you've ever taken an Uber, you'll know that because they have your name via the app, and if they start talking to you, they might speak to you in this way using your name. The 3rd way of being polite would be to use the words o senhor and a senhora. Okay, so instead of saying the name of the person, you replace that with o senhor if you're talking to a man and a senhora if you're talking to a woman. So for example, if I'm talking to a man politely, I don't know his name and I want to be formal, I would say o senhor fala inglês. I still don't get called senora. I look a lot younger than I actually am, so I don't know when I get to graduate to being a senora. I still get called menina, okay? So if you're talking to somebody younger, but this is more likely to be when somebody's talking to you, they might say o menino or a menina. So for example, when I was on the bus a while ago and I wanted to check where the bus was going, the bus driver said to me, a menina vai para onde? So she was asking, where are you going? But the you was actually replaced with a menina, okay? And the verb, as you can see there, the verb of ir is still in the 3rd person singular. So how do you know when to use all these different types of being polite? It is a tricky one to get right. O senhor, a senhora, I would say, is the most polite. So particularly if you don't know the person's name and they are older than you or they're in a position of power, like a boss, then you would definitely use o senhor and a senhora. If you know the person's name, then you can throw the name in there and use that polite way. The most foolproof way, if you're not sure, is to just resort to using the verb in the 3rd person singular, okay? So that's the one where we miss off saying você because we've decided we're not going to say that, but you would just simply put it in the 3rd person. So, fala inglês if you are asking that question. I hope that was helpful. If you've got more requests about what you would like me to cover in these quickfire Portuguese lessons, then let me know in the comments and I will look forward to seeing you again soon. Ciao for now.